Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back. Take 3, I think.
We're having major issues today. Hope everybody's having a great day. We were able to get a video up on Evolutionary. Full disclosure, you are in the middle of an intergalactic, interdimensional war. That's a big disclosure. Yeah, they've only given us part of the picture so far. And over on EEARTS, we were last talking about the X's. Oh, so many X's. And we were talking about cultivating, nourishing the spiritual self over on Heart's Home. This one over on Patreon that was up for Patreons only probably got like some of the best reception we've seen ever. As many had said, this was like, wow. But then again, it was easier to say things when you're not covering up your words so much.
I know. I mean, we have the ability to kind of speak a little bit freely here. So that really, really feels good. It's actually therapeutic when you can get everything out there. But we have so many people to thank for Patreon. We cannot tell you how grateful we are to have your guys' help.
Yes, the response has been enormous. So, I think we've gotten 39 new Patreons so far this month, which is the most we've ever seen. And for basically $1 support per month, you'll get videos that won't go anywhere else. And it does support the channel because, again, if we were off doing other things and not dedicating 12 to 16 hours a day to finding all these things out for Cindy to go under in trance channel, as well as taking the time to channel when she's not in full trance. It's the ability that we get from your guys' support that enables us to go deep and find all these things for you.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much. And we want to say a huge thank you to Stephen, Joe, Dana, Sage, Clove, Kate, William, Gemma, Jasana, Michelle, me, WC, Ryan, Elise, Matt, Brianna, Jasmine, Mike, and Crystal. You guys help make all of this possible. All of you guys in Patreon. Thank you.
Absolutely. So here they go. It's possible July could be the hottest month in 120,000 years. Oh, they keep throwing up the ante, don't they? Yeah, it may not. And then again, they may say it was, but it might not be. This is all part of what the great realization is. We can't trust anything from the system because the system's proven to be, well, either very, very erroneous, very, very fallible, or very, very agenda-oriented. Gulf Stream could collapse by as early as 2025. Now, this study gave a wide range, saying somewhere between 2025 and like 2095. It's likely that the Gulf Stream is going to collapse. And for those of you that are familiar with the term, the AMOC. So this is what keeps, say, the UK and much of Northern Europe livable and warm and actually can grow food. Because if this did stop, it would be a totally different situation. You might have conditions that would be very much like, say, northern Scandinavia in London. That's going to be a challenge. The cold is much more challenging than the heat, even though both will bring their challenges. And of course, all we ever hear is global warming, warming, warming. But if this is the case, and if this does happen, the climate could change really drastically and dramatically with as much as a 30 degree temperature difference in some areas, Fahrenheit. That's enormous. That's absolutely enormous. And what happens in this cycle is there's something called the Beaufort or Beaufort gyre, which basically what happens is fresh water that's locked up in the ice melts, goes into the ocean. The salt water is heavier than the fresh water. It ends up flushing out the fresh water, which disrupts the flow of the Gulf Stream. And then you really do have true climate change. This happens regularly, they tell us, And the last time this happened was about 12,000 years ago when we had that gigantic cataclysm known as the Younger Dryas period. But that was also associated with impacts from above and multiple impacts. And so we see over here, Florida ocean temps surged to 100 degrees. They were showing 101 degrees in some areas in Florida in the ocean. That's huge if it's real. Again, anybody in, say, the Keys or in South Florida, go check for yourself. I would be curious to see what you guys are getting. Being somebody that lived in Port Charlotte and Sarasota, I've lived over on the east side too, around St. Augustine, as well as in the middle, close to Disney and all that fun. And, the temp can get in the 90s on the Gulf side, but 100 is definitely extreme. Again, if it's real, we have to feel into that. And here you have a post from Jeff Berardelli, who is always on the climate change, global warming agenda with his tweets, or as X's now. Do we say something different than tweets now that it's X from Elon?
I don't know. Something will probably develop.
You look at these temperatures, 84. Wait a minute. This is the area you were talking about, 101s. 10 degrees sea surface temperature drop in one day in a shallow Florida Bay. Well, again, winds can affect things for sure. But it just, leaves you saying, okay, what really are those temperatures? You're telling us it's 100, 101. When I look at these, see 84, 83, 84. This is down by the Keys. That's relatively normal to maybe even a little bit on the cool side. What's really going on here? What is really, we know the agenda. That's obvious. But is there volcanic action going on? Is there lasers and other sorts of technologies impacting? Certainly it's impacting the weather, but are they literally trying to boil the oceans alive with technology?
Yeah, it really doesn't look good, but honestly, we don't know unless somebody is going out there with a thermometer. That's about how much faith I have in any kind of media out there. You really have to be hands-on dealing with things right in front of you to report something that's actually accurate. However, when I do feel into these energies, when I take a look, it doesn't look good. It really feels like these are technologies that are beyond our scope of understanding, that can do things to the planet that are not going to help us. And if the planet were natural, completely left alone, if we were somehow to stay in like a Amish type state of being where we blend with the earth and keep everything at a slower level, because Mother Nature, she's slow, but she's thorough. She's slow, but she's perfect. If we could look and copy Mother Nature and be a little slower in our actions, but better, I think, and I blame this on the controllers. I don't blame it on other people, because we're the ones who are having to access their other technologies, which is causing a bigger problem. But left to our own devices, Mother Earth left to her own devices, she wouldn't do this to us, because we are one, and we'd be able to read the energy and move and shift as needed to allow for change.
Absolutely. So we do have records falling, 24 inches of rain in 24 hours in India. This is an area that gets hit annually with floods, but then again, the extremes are even more extreme. And being that this is the fourth, I think, try for this video, somehow this one just didn't make it through. I'm not sure what that tweet was now. Wildfires in France. Now you can see here, you could tell who's on the agenda and not. And then, also maybe some of these people are just exceedingly gullible. Wildfires now in France, while Tory MPs and media discuss whether climate change is a real issue or not. So you're assuming that the wildfire started because of climate change? Do you think that cows are bringing matches and lighting each other's methane releases? Do you think that the woods is just spontaneously combusting? No, it's not that hot. Yeah, and also we have videos that show people stopping on mopeds and lighting fires with lighters. And we have seen many, many mentions of arsonists and arrests. So again, the agenda is more than obvious. Eruptions at Dempo volcano, this is in Sumatra. This one erupted about a year and a half ago. It is pretty active, but we're seeing all the active ones go in right now. So the activity is ramping up. We are expecting a lot more to come online in the near future as well, as far as volcanoes erupting. Strong and shallow 6.4 quake hits Vanuatu. Thankfully, no injuries, not an area where it's going to cause a lot of problems. But again, Cascadia and the San Andreas seem locked up and they're not releasing energy. Last of nearly 100 pilot whales stranded on an Australian beach were euthanized after getting rescued and then re-stranded. So, this is what we get is this is a lot of technology being used that's causing a lot of, and it's not just Australia, it's in many places. It's causing a lot of the whales and the dolphins, which are not, they're really no less than us. In some ways, they're at a higher frequency than us, as we see a dead humpback whale here in Westport, Massachusetts, and New York Post. Why are so many whales dying? As you look at all the locations where they've found different whales that have beached and have passed on. As Cindy has shared, whales are much more important than most people realize.
They really are. As far as it comes to consciousness and the 3D world, the songs and the information that the whales do put out through the water, and the water is an amplifier. This helps the 3D realm actually stay together. It helps. It's a sort of a glue that helps hold things together. So this definitely has my attention as I watch these things happening with the whales. And it's so sad because I do feel that they're using technologies in the water of various sorts, of a chemical nature, of a laser nature, of a vibrational waveform nature. And it's really taking its tolls on these creatures, and really things won't stay together very well at a certain point. And then do you have time to, have everything turn back to normal? But Mother Nature, she does have a way of recreating balance pretty quickly. So I do still have a lot of faith in her. I just find it very sad.
This was a lightning strike, apparently, that hit a tank, which caused a massive eruption. This is in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And, again, lightning strike, it's just an act of God. Is it? Are there technologies that can actually, there's lightning rods, right, to attract the lightning? Are there technologies that could actually put a little X on the spot and draw, when the lightning comes near? Boom. Absolutely. Again, the U.S. flooded out Vietnamese villages in the Vietnam War 60 years ago. It's declassified. Medieval Poland was hit by floods 166 times, study finds. Yeah, Poland, being flooded out. As you see the woodcutting here with the animals and the people trying to climb up in trees to save themselves. This is something we may not be aware of. But yeah, these extremes happen quite frequently. As some people are taking note that there seems to be something that knocks back the population on regular intervals. Then again, is it just acts of God? Well, which gods are we talking about? Is the question here the creator of this universe? No, it's not. Again, is it something quite different? As so many beings, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, have been called God at one point in time and another. This is from Dutch, he is into these star forts and stuff. So this is Fort George, Scotland. No mention of a dragon's head shape. And then you see that it really is a dragon's head shape. And, this is interesting. This is by the River Ness and Loch Ness. And, of course, we have the Loch Ness Monster, which is kind of shaped like a Chinese dragon. Dragon energies. Oh, yes, we still got to do that video. We've had so much going on news-wise to cover. We can't get to a video that we were going to make about three days ago talking about this, and it goes back to Tiamat. How about this? Do you see the size of this Hummer? Do you see the size of that Hummer? This is a Sheik in Dubai. This thing is 3 times the size of a normal car. Why would the Sheik want this? Is it for ego? Well, yeah, he's a Sheik, he's rich. It could be ego. Or is he expecting a delegation of very, very large beings? 3 times the size? Well, comfortably hold somebody that's maybe 18 feet tall. It won't be too long. It won't be too long, guys. Take the love when you can get it. And you could get it from your pets anytime. And really, pets are family. They are family, and they totally love. So again, if you need a little hug, a little kiss over here, you know where to go.
They are amazing, amazing creatures. And when you look into their eyes and we look into their eyes and they look into ours, we're releasing happy hormones, you guys. It's so beneficial for both. So this is some wonderful, safe love with your pet, because your pet's not going to hurt you. They're just going to continue to love you no matter what, even if you do have to work a long day. They love you.
Absolutely. There's going to be a new video going up on Patreon only, that's very, very sensitive, touchy, and kind of scary. So, again, when you go to watch those, brace yourself a little bit.
Indeed.
Much love. God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.